screen. Live. I can't hear anything on my computer. I left it on my phone. I'm not seeing anything. Can you hear me talking or something? Now I see live. Okay, I finally see it. Yep, I see it.
Lawrence, if you're talking to me, I cannot hear you.
Yes. We're live now, Ashley.
We are live? Okay. All right, Ms. Turner, take it over.
Thank you. Just before lunch, we got the sad news that one of our colleagues, a teacher at Capital Encore Academy in Fayetteville, has succumbed to the coronavirus. And so we would like to just take a minute of silence for that family and for that school community. Thank you. Melanie, if you want to go ahead, we can get started.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Turner, for that. Moving a little further east in the state, we're going to Impact Leadership Academy, slated for location in Lenoir County, zip code 28501. They do have two primary sites that are listed, Plan A, Plan B, and they also have a contingency plan at a church in Kinston, North Carolina. You'll see here on the graphic the schools that are located within a 6-mile radius of the proposed site in zip code 28501. You've got Children's Village Academy, which is a charter. It's kind of embedded there, so you really don't see that, but it's really embedded within that radius there. And then you have the other LEA schools. And so if you want to go to the next slide. And so in year one, their proposed grade levels 3 through 6 with 160 students. What you'll see in years 1 through 3, they expand to full middle grades, and then years 4 through 6 they incorporate the lower grades, going down in year 6 to kindergarten. They will provide food service through the community eligibility provision. They also will provide transportation, a weighted lottery, again, 2 properties and 1 contingency. There has not been a submitted LEA impact. They are not a repeat applicant, currently not working with the EMO or CMO, and their completeness check is a yes. And so just another reminder of our time parameters. So we do have an hour allotted. I will introduce the school, and then the board will have their introduction for 10 minutes, followed by a 25-minute Q&A, and then an applicant closing statement, followed by the deliberation of the CSAB. So without further ado, we can go ahead with Impact. Ms. Reeves.
Okay, good afternoon. We welcome you to this session to answer questions you may have about Impact Leadership Academy. I am Dr. Dorothy M. Singleton, Chair of Impact Learning Academy Board. I have worked 50 plus years in education. I bring to ILA a wealth of knowledge which will enhance the mission of the school. The mission is to inquire academic and social excellence using project-based learning and gender-based strategies to produce impactful leaders for today and beyond, as well as assessment tools to monitor students' success. I have worked diligently in the field of education from elementary to higher education, from Tampa, Florida to Chapel Hill in various roles. I was the lead person to organize and implement the self-contained AIG program in Chapel Hill before leaving to earn a PhD from the University of South Florida. I earned a PhD in curriculum and instruction with an emphasis in special ed. As you know, will be in terms of our at-risk students, that will be quite helpful. After completing the degree, I was employed to work at Winston-Salem State University as Director of Student Services and Teacher Licensure Officer. After 11 years at WSSU, I transferred to another prestigious university in North Carolina, NCCU. At this university, I was appointed to serve as Director of the Institute for the Study of Minority Issues. 2 years later, I was appointed Chair of the Department of Curriculum and Instruction in the School of Education. I am passionate about educating children, students, to become productive citizens as well as leaders. ILA has a diverse group of board members, and we look forward to working together on a regular basis. And I know that it will be the students will be productive citizens and as well as leaders, but I also know that it will be the fruit of our labor to exceed expectations of our students at the Impact Leadership Academy. Martin Luther King Jr. once stated that the time is always right to do what is right. It is now the time for us to move forward with the Impact Leadership Academy with great enthusiasm. I will now move forward for us to hear from Mrs. Brandy Strickland, who is Vice Chair of the Board.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brandy Strickland. I'm a wife and mother of 3 boys. I grew up here in Greene County in eastern North Carolina. And as you know, this area of the state is a poverty state. And so I am aware of the challenges that the kids face here. Thankfully, my parents able to push me to be successful, and I attended ECU and received a degree in business administration with a marketing concentration. Since then, I have worked in marketing, management, and project management in regards to our Cashflow Investment Group company that my husband and I run together. I oversee the renovations with the project management company. I joined 4-Day Movement, which is a partner of Impact Leadership Academy, because I believe that people could change and become productive citizens if given the correct tools and opportunities to succeed. I love the motto of 4-Day, which is to give a hand up and not a hand out. Together with my husband, we have supported many nonprofits here, including FCA, which is Fellowship of Christian Athletes. We believe in supporting children as much as we can. And it's through 4-Day Movement that I joined Impact Leadership Academy to further my passion of giving back through education and social and emotional opportunities to children. It is through this approach that we can be a part of a positive change here in the next generation in eastern North Carolina.
We will now hear from Crystal Burke. Ms. Burks?
Good morning. Good morning. Again, I am Crystal Burks, a licensed clinical social worker with 14 years of dedicated leadership, addressing barriers that impact P through 12 students. I'm a wife, a mother of two, and my commitment and ties to the state of North Carolina stem from my military service and affiliation with the United States Army, along with completing my undergraduate studies at Johnson C. Smith University. On a more personal level, my husband is a native of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. COVID-19 has caused a delay in relocating my family back to North Carolina. However, we are actively working on that transition. I'm a proud member of this illustrious board, serving as secretary. From the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child, which I have lived to be true. It is the many facets of the entire community of people who must interact with those children to experience the growth and safety and allow that healthy environment. Impact Leadership Academy is committed as a community school to set forth to provide on-site resources for children and their families. And this approach, it assists in eliminating obstacles that may interfere with academic achievements. Integrity, merit, perseverance, accountability, community, talent are the values embedded within our name. With our driven mission to inspire academic and social excellence, using project-based learning to produce impactful leaders for today and beyond. Again, to the Charter Board members, we, the Impact Leadership Board, are honored to be before you today and look forward to answering all the questions you may have. Thank you.
Dr. K?
So welcome everybody. My name is Dr. Eric Newell. I am a first-generation college student from the Bronx. So I'm a little bit different than some of our board members who have local ties to North Carolina. But my tie comes through East Carolina University. I have served over 25 years in higher education administration at 6 different institutions up and down the East Coast, and most currently serve as the Associate Vice Chancellor for Student Involvement and Leadership in the Division of Student Affairs at East Carolina University. In my role at ECU, I supervise 5 departments that range from Greek life and student organizations to intercultural affairs, our cultural centers, as well as our community outreach and learning. I am responsible for over 80 full-time staff, 700 student workers, 300,000 square feet of facility space, about 100 acres of outdoor space, and about $15 to $20 million of budget. What I think is my biggest interest with Impact and the idea of Kinston is that I go off the quote that I've had on my desk for years from Nelson Mandela, which it says, education is the greatest weapon one can use to change the world. At ECU, we strive, we have 3 main goals. One of those is regional transformation, and we take that to heart. We connect to many different high schools, elementary schools, public, private, and charter schools around Eastern North Carolina to help create a pipeline both up and down for our students to see an access road to college and university education, as well as for our students and our faculty to work and impact our local communities. I think specifically some skills I will bring to the board are my operations and finance experience. At all 6 different institutions I've worked at, I've built co-curricular leadership programs. So leadership, as you see embedded in our name, is important to me. Fundraising and development, and obviously the connection specifically with East Carolina University and Eastern North Carolina.
We will now hear from Mr. King.
Greetings. My name is Danny King. I am a product of Eastern North Carolina. I'm actually the youngest of 13 children. My mother raised 13 children. All 13 were high school graduates after losing our father at the early age of 5 in rural North Carolina. I'm a product of the 60s. I am a graduate of Winston-Salem State University. I'm the president of a behavioral health care agency called 1-to-1 with Youth. I'm also the founder and the director of Adler Inc., a community development corporation. The words Adler stand for a lot of direction, love, and affection. I manage over 120 employees. I've been in business for almost 20 years. I grew up in Eastern North Carolina, moved to Washington, D.C., and Prince George's County, Maryland, where I worked in education and law enforcement. After retiring, I was able to relocate back home to impact my community. I saw the same dynamics that I see now in the urban communities in rural North Carolina. So as the founder of 1-to-1 with Youth, we actually have 5 different services. We actually do child and adolescent day treatment, which is under behavioral health care with the state, where we work with schools with suspensions. We do intensive in-home parenting, where we prevent children from being placed out of the home or into therapeutic foster care or into group homes. We provide peer support, where we help adults with recovery, with employment, and with jobs. We provide community support team with substance use, where we try to prevent adults from being involved with substance use. We do outpatient therapy, trauma-focused therapy, and PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We have a plethora of services. In our nonprofit, my specialty is feeding. I have actually 5 different food missions where we provide a soup kitchen, a food pantry, and food bank. We provide temporary emergency food assistance program through USDA. We also provide summer feeding, where we've actually, within the last 10 years, has been the #1 feeding program in Eastern North Carolina. We average 120,000 meals in 10 weeks each summer. We also provide mobile feeding, where we go into public housing throughout all of Eastern North Carolina and provide hot meals for children as they're home or on the weekends or out of school, so that these children will have a good, wholesome meal. So as you can tell in my mission, food and nutrition will be one of the main functions that I will focus on in working with Impact Leadership. My second mission is I've written over $20 million in grant opportunities. We did the first gang prevention comprehensive model in Wayne County. We've been funded through 21st Century After School Learning Programs. We also provided supplementary education tutoring in 17 different counties. We did the first dropout prevention initiative in Wayne County under Adler, and a host of other programs, culinary arts programs. So we're prepared to make a difference as we embark on this mission to work with Impact Leadership Academy. Currently, right now, we're funded through Health and Human Services and the Department of Rural Health to work with COVID support. Currently, we're providing support relief to 24 different counties right now as we speak. And I do have passion as we deal with the needs of our COVID information, because we're seeing so many positive cases throughout the state of North Carolina. And we're providing food and nutrition to all of these counties to make sure that the families can get what they need so they can stay into quarantine and stay into isolation. I will also work with Impact as it relates to sustainability, because in order to start a charter school, it's going to take funding, it's going to take resources. So we're going to look at ways that we can help sustain this process as we're moving forward. We also currently, right now, are working in Eastern North Carolina to deal with hunger, child hunger, and there's a great need. So Kinston, North Carolina is our passion. Some of our beginning programs we were endorsed to do services by East Point in the Lenore County area where we did parenting programs and structured day programs. So we're excited to be a part of this Leadership Academy, and we believe that we will do a fabulous job. Thank you.
This is the end of our board members' presentations. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, board, let's talk about any questions that we have. I have quite a few, so you guys might want to take notes so that you can address, because I want to get all the questions out, then you can just address them. But I'll let anybody else want to start.
Cheryl, I have some questions.
Go right ahead, Sherry.
First of all, thank you, board, for your presentation. Certainly, your passion is evident. But one of the big questions, one of the glaring things for me when I was reading this application is that you guys selected Lenore County, although no one on the board resides in Lenore County. And even in the application, we know that Lenore has had a history. Clearly, I'm from down east, so I know the Kinston area well, and those schools are within the district that I work for, or in the region I work for, I should say. So I have a good understanding of the need for the area. But we've also had some history with our schools in the Kinston area. And the application even states that there is reluctance from the community to support another charter. So one of the big questions for me is, why was Lenore selected? I think Mr. King and Ms. Strickland both spoke to entities that they work for in neighboring counties, so I'm not sure why those counties were not selected. The survey numbers were rather small. Yeah, so I'll start with that. I have numerous questions about the budget. And finally, one last thing I wanted to point out was I went on the website for Impact Leadership, and in bold letters on the website, impact, the meaning of impact was spelled out. Nowhere in the application do you say that impact means integrity, merit, perseverance, accountability, community, and talent? And I would think that that would have been tied directly into your mission statement and put very boldly throughout the application. That's what I have for now, Ms. Turner.
Okay, I had the same question about why Lenore County when nobody lives in Lenore County, especially since being a community school is so much of what it is that you want to do, and nobody actually lives in that community. So that was kind of surprising to me. There were a couple of things, also the number of the survey responses in terms of the need or the desire of people. You had quite a few letters of support from community organizations, but several of them were scripted, and so it was like one letter and people just put it on a different letterhead and signed it. Two of them I think were original, and that's a little bit concerning. I have quite a few questions about budget too, but we'll do budget last. And then some questions about professional development. But let's start with that. Does anybody else have any questions that they want to add?
This is Joe. I know several of the reviewers, and many of us had a question about why grades 3 through 6. It's very difficult to bring kids in after they've started at other elementary schools. I'll hear the reasoning behind that.
Okay, could you address some of those? Oh, go ahead, Bruce.
and echo everything that my fellow CSEP members have stated. They were questions I have, as well as just facility plan.
And I concur also, without being redundant. Thank you.
Okay, could you address some of those issues for us, please?
Well, first of all, as far as why we chose Kinston, North Carolina, I live in Goldsboro, actually bordering on the county line of Lenoir County. I do have ties to the area because I did grow up in Greene County. Actually did a lot of my activities as a child in Kinston because Greene County really didn't have a whole lot going on, if you know the area. My children currently go to school in Kinston, and we felt that there's a high need in the area for a charter school. We know that there had been one there previously, but in Wayne County currently we have a charter school here, which is Wayne Preparatory Academy. There's Wayne School of Engineering. So we felt like that there were several educational opportunities here in Wayne County that Lenoir County did not possess other than the Children's Village. We felt that, we could reach, more children in the area, not to mention the fact that the area location that we're looking at, we felt would be a good proximity to downtown and to kids in the rural community between Kinston and Greenville.
Also, when you look at the need in Lenoir County, just in looking at all the needs, all the demands, I actually have operated several programs in Lenoir County and has always had a passion to serve in Lenoir County. We're endorsed in the mental health area of East Point. And East Point covers Wayne, Duplin, Sampson, Lenoir, Greene, and Wilson counties. But in serving Lenoir County in that community, we've always had a passion to serve because the need was so great. Also, when we did SES, Supplemental Educational Services, Rochelle Middle School was one of our targeted schools that we did after school programming. We also operated a office on Queen Street where we did parenting programs under the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council in Lenoir County. And we worked very diligently with that community. They have a lot of needs. We believe that we can be one of these charter schools that can go there and make a huge impact. And, oftentimes, I know what you guys are thinking, that people are looking at the grade levels and the disparities there and just want to flock there. But we're going there with passion where we want to impact that community and serve that community based on the need that's there. When you look at Eastern North Carolina is the 15th poorest region in the United States. And when you begin to look at Lenoir County and look at the poverty, because we're there at least twice a week, working with families there, because we're endorsed to do business there. We see the need, we see the children's desire to have a better place to learn. And we believe that our reason for being there is to go and impact and help these families. They have a lot of needs. And we believe that we can model some of the same programs that we have done in Wayne County to better impact that community. And that's why we selected Lenoir County.
Did you not think that might be a good idea to add somebody from Lenoir County to your board?
So I think that's an excellent suggestion. I think it's a matter of, the people that we touched with and that we have connections with and that we trust that are going to be passionate about this. And I think, even though we're at this point now with the board, there's always opportunities for boards to grow. But I would tell you now that even myself, my son goes to Kinston for school. Through the last 2.5, 3 years with hurricane relief, which my part of the Division of Student Affairs at ECU coordinates. We've been down in Kinston a great many times. So I've had an opportunity to learn more about a part of this region that I was not as familiar with and see the need, especially seeing the impact, to play on words, to see the impact that a number of charter schools have made, particularly recently in the Greenville area. You can see that there's a need for that in Kinston. And so that's what drew me to want to be a part of this.
Okay.
Could we hear about the reasoning for grades 3 through third graders when kids are already settled into another elementary program in K2?
Hi, this is Crystal, and I just wanted to speak to, again, I know there was questions about us as a board serving this community, and as a licensed clinical social worker, I mean, even as my upbringing, I grew up in a military family, so I don't necessarily have that one place, but I know every place that I have lived and reside, I mean, when you see that there's a need, you make that your effort to address barriers. And I do feel in the board as a whole that, again, echoing that there is a need to address. I come from a rural town, Weirdsdale, Florida, where my family is from. So again, I know we this is a starting point for us. And again, yes, we can impact other communities, but there is a great need in Lenoir County. And one of our supporters, the Lenoir County Community Health Department, even speaks to the disparities that is impacting the quality of life, the health factors, behavioral health, clinical care, economic factors in Lenoir County. So if anything, why not? You know, I just feel like as a board, we do have unique perspectives and resources that we can bring to this community. So just given the opportunity, we would like to impact that. Thank you.
I did see a question you were asking about.
Yes, can somebody speak to the issue of 3rd through 6th grade?
Yes, I'm sorry, I was on mute. Yes, so I wanted to address that question. Mainly the reason that we chose 3rd through 6th grade is because, quite honestly, in our name, Impact Leadership Academy, we wanted to have an opportunity to create leaders within the school, and we would do that through a house system. So whenever kids come in, they would be assigned to a house. They would stay in that house for the entire time that they're there. And through the house system, they would learn how to manage their emotions, set goals, build relationships, learn how to make good choices, and learn how to become effective communicators. So once we have them as the leaders and the older kids, then we would bring in the younger children so that they would be able to create the everyone as a leader mindset, that the younger children could learn from the older children, as in like a Montessori type education that my children actually went through in preschool, and it was great because they were able to learn from the older children, and they were excited to go to school every day. And we were hoping, you know, through the house system to create a community through the school and be able to, they have a part of the school through, you know, not only the children, but also through the their parent involvement there, and as well as like even the teachers there, that we create a leadership from skilled seasoned teachers for teachers that are, you know, young and new and coming in. So it really kind of goes through the entire culture of the school.
How are you going to convince families that they want to leave their elementary school after second grade to transfer? That's an odd grade to transfer. Third grade is, it's the beginning of testing. To make the decision to do something new there is not generally what people do.
So I think that comes through, how effective we are with marketing the school. The children, that's third grade is an impact time for children, especially that age. They're kind of really coming into their own and learning how to be, kids, not just babies, but children. And we're hoping, that we can nurture them to be strong, through a strong culture, and through the marketing of the school, we plan to reach out to even, the child care areas, churches, and that way when people hear about the school, they may hear about it years before their child attends. But they say, hey, you know what, we want to be a part of that. And we know that, our children will be here for a certain period of time, but we want to make sure that we become part of Impact Leadership Academy. And so I feel like by that point we'll be well established, and I think that the parents will see a need for their children.
And a tree is known by the fruit it bears. When you look at quality, and in over 30 some odd years of programming, our programs generally have standing room only. And it's because of the quality of service we provide. When you provide true quality, parent involvement programs, workshops, being able to make sure that those families are receiving the care and the needs that they so deserve, it won't be a problem as getting children to enroll in a process that's already successful. And that's what we're bringing to the table. We've served over the years thousands and thousands of children, even in 21st century after school learning programs. We average 248 students. And through marketing, through outreach, and being able to just genuine trust in those families and solid communication, the parents will realize that it is in their best interest for their children to be in our programs. So it'll be a collaborative effort and a collection of all things combined that we'll be able to provide for that community, so those children can receive what they need. And we believe that Impact Leadership will make an impact right away.
If you look at the response to your surveys, virtually nobody was interested in a 3 through 6. Most of the people who responded to your survey were interested in a K-12. So what makes you think there's going to be even the people you surveyed didn't think that 3 through 6 was not a choice, that was one of their favorites?
Well, I think that, that's just going to have to be something that we push through, when we go to the school, the child care facilities and community organization or community involvement. I think that we're just going to have to explain why a 3rd through 6th grade, because it's probably, I'm assuming, has not been done maybe in other charter schools, but I think once we explain the house system and the leadership mechanism of the school, I think people will begin to understand why we chose those grades, and then I think that going forward it probably won't be an issue. I think it's something new for the area, but that doesn't mean it won't work.
Who did the survey go to? How did you determine your target audience for this particular survey to assess interest in the school?
Well, we reached out to Sanderson Farms, which has a high English learning population, as well as a lot of lower income families there. So we did the main survey through employees at that particular location, which we felt would be a kind of a good overview of the county in regards to who we were targeting.
Have you held any community meetings, informational sessions in Lenore to gauge parent interest by, and I realize with COVID that may not have been possible, but just anything beyond her?
We have intentions to hold community meetings once we feel like it's appropriate given COVID. We have created a flyer that has gone out to. I've actually taken the flyer to Lenore County Public Lenore County Public Library, LaGrange Public Library, Wayne County Public Library, Kinston Community Health. I've dropped it at the social services office in both Kinston and Goldsboro, and actually took a survey to Electrolux, which is a huge corporation in Kinston off of Highway 70, and spoke to the human resources officer there, and she was happy to basically give the information out to her employees, because she said this is exactly a target population for you and for this school. And, what can you offer them? And she said the main thing is that they are looking for an opportunity for their children to go to school beyond the typical school hour day. And us being a community school model, that is what we are pushing for, is that, we will offer is that the kids will have an extended learning time, extended time at school to for enrichment, for tutoring, or what they need, and she was very excited about it, and they have a large employee population there. So,
and we've also reached out through the city of Kinston, and we do understand, like you said, as it relates to COVID and some of the communication issues, but we've reached out to the mayor's office. I was just with the mayor 2 weeks ago, and we believe that, just through the mayor's office, social services, community partners, we believe that the marketing side of what we are doing will have a solid impact, and we will be able to get good participation and enrollment. It's just, again, we're at the developmental stages of this, and we know that there's room to grow and room to improve, but we have been building these relationships that's going to make enrollment very good. We have no doubt in our mind we will reach our goals in enrollment.
yes, and also I do serve on the board of 4-Day Movement, which is I'm the vice chair on that board as well, through DJ Coles, and he has a huge impact in the Kinston community as well, and how we can reach children that are economically disadvantaged. We do it now through the programs that we offer, and so does Mr. King here. So we feel like we will not have an issue with reaching the population of students that we're trying to achieve.
I agree.
I want to move to budget, because we only have a few minutes left, and there are some issues with budget that we want to get to. One concern that I had was that you are offering no employee benefits for 5 years, no retirement, no health insurance, just no employee benefits at all in the first 5 years. And then when I looked at your instructional materials, the only software you had was MWEA MAP. You were only spending $5,000 on instructional subscriptions. You had no money for testing supplies, even though all your grades are tested. And rent was only $3,000 a month. I know some other people had some budget questions. You guys want to put those out there so they can respond to all of them?
Go
Yes, this is Lynn, and I had other questions too. The staffing chart had showed that there was 2 specials teachers for PE, art, and STEM, but I didn't see them in the budget. Also, it seemed like the teacher salary is really low at 38,000. And again, like Cheryl said, nothing was budgeted for benefits. And again, you said you'd be 1-to-1 on the Chromebooks, but you only had $28,000 budgeted for Chromebooks for 160 students.
Anybody else have budget questions?
I have a few, Cheryl.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
There's $0 for student accounting, so who's going to be responsible for that? Then it says there's a financial contract, so who's going to do the financial contract? The custodial contract was low, which I usually say is way too much, but the electric estimate was even lower than the custodial contract. So altogether, the utilities were very, very low. Then the buses, one question I had about transportation was the plan said that you would pick up students who lived 10 miles outside of the school. So how many buses and drivers are you going to get for $50,000? And then what are you doing about the kids who live, 5 to 10 miles from the school? Marketing was low, staff development was almost non-existent. And your break even is 150 out of 160, and that's scary.
It's Dr. K.
I can start with particularly the facility-based questions. The facility that we're most excited about is the facility that's right, I believe it's 11 or 13. I think it's 11 that comes down. And that facility right now, when you look at the average cost in the Kinston area, you're looking around $8 to $12 a square foot. So we, in some senses, depending on the square footage that we negotiate with the facility that, by the way, was built as a school, we might actually come under the projected $40,000 mark. So there's opportunities there. It's also important to note that even though our break-even part is at 150, we've already heard that we really do expect that we're going to reach our 160, and we also have a surplus of around $55,000 that we understand there's going to be some startup costs that are going to be in there that might be lower than what we expected, it might be higher, or might be different, and so we expect that some of that surplus to help, particularly in that first year or two, and we're trying to start the program.
How will you attract teachers at low salary and no benefits?
So we had a lot of discussions about that internally, and one of the things we came to the decision on was that the teacher salary is a higher entry salary than what you're going to find in the area. Again, that's we're averaging out, but we already identified a number of the head administrator positions and have already started to recruit for those that are very interested and know the parameters of the salary. The other thing, talking to other educational professionals around the area, because we're coming in at a higher salary rate at the beginning, we think we're going to be very attractive for a number of teachers that might not need that benefit, whether it's because their spouse has another benefit or they already have that benefit from another retirement, another area. So we don't expect to have a problem, particularly in our region, attracting quality professionals for those salaries.
At 38,000, that wouldn't have to be brand new teachers. The state salary is 36.
Correct.
So why would people already have retirement?
So it's funny, we've seen that in a couple of nonprofit boards that I work with where we talk about benefits or not. And what we're finding is that a lot of people are looking for the higher salary because again, we're surprised on how many other individuals already have the benefits through other means. And so there's an opportunity to do that, or to seek out benefits through their own choices and their own ideas. So again, it's a decision that we've made that we think is right. We've vetted it and we've talked about it with other educational professionals, and we feel like we are going to offer a higher starting salary.
I don't understand how 38,000 is a higher starting salary when basically it's a beginning teacher salary. And I don't know any beginning teacher that would want to come up your East Carolina program and start and have no benefits. And we're already talking about an area that is extremely depressed and poor. So we're just going to add to it by not paying them well and not providing benefits.
To our understanding, they're coming 1 year beyond the experience of the state pay scale, which is about $3,000 more in the second year than started their first year. So we're starting at the second year salary.
So are you saying that all of the teachers will be first or second year teachers? You're wanting only first or second year teachers?
No, there's no way to predict that until we see what we go out there and hire. But there are a number that are going to start off at that higher point. And in talking to people, that was just that we made, that we feel that we're not going to have problems finding teachers. Like I said, we've already started to kind of beat the bushes and look for teachers and administrators. And the more we tell them about it, trying to be guarded because we haven't gotten anything approved yet, the more excited they are.
We haven't talked about your ed plan at all, but if you look at what you're asking teachers to do, and are you going to be able to do that with brand new teachers? All brand new teachers? And children who are coming in behind in middle grades?
Well, I feel like too, this is, we're kind of in the beginning stages of this, and obviously there's options.
You're muted.
Sorry.
That's why.
We're in the beginning stages of this, and obviously there's an opportunity here for us to learn. And I have multiple friends that are teachers, they're educators, and they have, they've questioned this scenario as well. But what I have to say about it is that a lot of the teachers that I'm friends with, although they have benefits and they have investment opportunities and they have their salaries, they also are disgruntled to a degree with some of the curriculums and the things that they have to deal with on a daily basis. And several of them have said that they would be happy to come over to to teach at a school with the type of educational curriculum that we're offering. And when I first started my first job out of East Carolina, the company that I started with, they didn't offer me insurance or benefits of any kind. But as I stayed there, within 3 to 5 years, then that became an option for me. And it may be that we as a board decide that as well, is that, the more successful that we are and the better, we get with our budget, and also with hopefully, staying in the black, that, we'll be able to make that an option for the staff.
Okay, and then also just to add about the piece with the benefits, as a community school, we're going to be constantly building partners, and that is one thing that we are going to implement also with onboarding, within our onboarding process with our teachers. It's to assist them in learning how to invest their finances, having options, if that's something that they desire to seek out outside benefit packages. So we have discussed and will be prepared to deliver that piece.
Okay, our time is now up. If you would like to make your closing statement, you have time to do that at this point.
I appreciate all the questions that you asked and what have you. And I did write those down. And then I went back to look at the 4 pillars that we're actually focusing on as well. Collaborative leadership and practice. That goes back to the communities in which businesses can partner with us and what have you. We're looking at active family and community engagement. Again, with that, we will have other interests in terms of people coming together, working together to make sure that we have a very successful school. It can be in terms of volunteer work, or it can be financial. Like here in North Carolina, and I worked in Chapel Hill in Durham, North Carolina as well. It's really amazing how many of the businesses have come to support these community schools and have done a very good job in terms of being active participants. Another pillar that we are actually looking at is integration of student support. Again, community service, communities coming together, corporations coming together. Sure, we need to do quite a bit with our marketing plan, and that is forthcoming in terms of working with people and doing a broad stance on getting people involved. The more we market what we're doing and knowing that we have a differentiated curriculum, which will involve project-based learning, cooperative learning, and also direct instruction. Ms. Strickland mentioned something about the Montessori. I'm very well abreast of the Montessori technique. We are in a planning stage to make things happen for the children that we have written into this proposal or to this application. How we're going to work with them and the excitement that we can bring to them. Many of these students are coming from backgrounds in terms they may be 2 grades behind. They're not all working on the same level. So therefore, we want to make sure that students are successful. We have various assessment tools in place in which we can monitor their progress and making sure that they master the skills that they have been taught. This is a planning process. We've answered all of the questions that you have asked. I thought it was very thorough. I know that we still need more work to do. So with that in mind, we're eager to move this project forward. We're very passionate about the students who we can work with. And we are very enthusiastic about whatever feedback we can get from the Office of Charter Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Does time still permit?
No. Oh, I don't know. Do they still have time?
They do. They have until about 2:13, 2:14.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And if we could continue on with our closing to address as Lenoir County being one of the worst health outcomes in the state, with the alarming ranking of 84 out of 100 counties. At the bottom line, if our students are not healthy, they cannot learn. Therefore, let us, as Impact's Leadership Academy, impact students' performance. The current performance rate out of 178 out of 335 districts in North Carolina. Let us impact the production of leaders and social excellence among the North County students. Let us impact the culture to draw more businesses to the area and improve families' economic status. Let us impact our future to meet the challenges of adulthood and the fundamentals demands of the workforce. Let us impact Leadership Academy become the next educational choice for our students, building partnerships, building resources that, again, make our school a unique component for teachers to work for and community partners to partner with. To the charter board members, we, the Impact School Board members, We thank you for your time and feedback and consideration.
I might be the last person. I just wanted to make sure that I speak a little bit from the heart. I know you've heard a lot of data, and I know that it is growing. This is a growth process that we're getting to learn. But I think what's important here is that one of the things that I found working in higher education for 25 plus years is graduation numbers are not enough, right? You got to start at the young age, and we know this. We're all educators. We got to start at a young age. We have to start finding out a way to impact not only our students but our community, which is why we love that community school model. Making sure that the parents, the families, the community members are coming along for this journey. They are riding this journey, riding the successes, learning about the journey as much as their children and their students are learning about this journey. Because if we can make a real impact, especially in an area like Kinston that's had such incredible growth and visibility over the last 5 or 10 years, and what they're trying to do with downtown, COVID not counting, what they're trying to do in their downtown area and everything. I think that we have a chance, particularly with this kind of a diverse board coming from not only different parts of the region, but also different parts of the country and backgrounds, to really make an impact. I keep using that word, sorry, an impact with the community. I think that community school model, while it's not unique to us as educators, I think is somewhat unique to that region and to that area. And I think that's where we're going to see some of the greatest impact that we have with these students. I know that there are concerns about the budget, but there's also opportunities to move money around. There's opportunities to learn, and there's also opportunities with our connections to save. And I look forward to the opportunity to have East Carolina University in some of the unique ways that I'm infused into the institution, to really have them through, whether it's through internships, volunteer opportunities, or just to have access to other learning leadership opportunities there. I've been down in that area for probably 7 or 8 times in the last 3 years alone, to speak at different schools about leadership and about the opportunity to go to college. And again, we all know that starts at a young age. And I think this is an opportunity with this model of school, with leadership as a focus, with the idea of a community school and tying that together to really make a difference in that community, which is ultimately going to impact the region.
Thank you so very much.
And I know lastly, you guys had, had a concern about none of us living in the Kinston area, but I do live about 15 to 20 minutes from Kinston, as well as I live 15 to 20 minutes from Goldsboro. So I am probably the closest in proximity to the area. I know it well. So just rest assured that you do have a Eastern North Carolina girl here, rooting for this area.
Thank you so very much.
I just want to add one final statement, and that's dealing with sustainability. As I mentioned earlier, we've written over $20 million worth of projects. So I understand the concerns about the budget, but we have a strong history in sustaining programs and organizations. So we do believe with multiple funding streams, we can make sure that there are resources for the school that teachers and all employees will benefit from. I wanted to add that.
Thank you. Okay, board comments, time for us to deliberate. What are people thinking?
This is Heather Van Cannon. Madam Chair, I'm inclined to want to bring them back next month to talk a little bit more through the ed plan. We kind of ran out of time with that. Mm-hmm. And I just want to know a little bit more. I think that there's a need for the school. I'm concerned about the 3 through 6 and do think their budget would be helped by starting with kindergarten and working their way up. And I know they had explanations for that, but anyway, that's my inclination, and I wanted to share that.
Madam Chair.
And go ahead.
This is Joel Ford, and I want to bring them back because of Mr. King. And Mr. King has a very long-term and successful history in Eastern North Carolina, going on well over 2 decades of helping serve marginalized community and underserved individuals. One of the things that I'm very, very big on is that we have a number of applicants who want to come in and serve low-income kids. We all know what the limitations with the state budget are, but in order for a program to be able to work, in my opinion, successfully, is to be able to supplement the services and needs of the kids and families. Where I feel comfortable at in this aspect of the application, if that can be accomplished, there's one person that I know for sure. It is Danny King to be able to help supplement a school and the program. I understand there are questions about the budget. I understand there's questions concerning the educational program. I do believe that we ought to give them the benefit of the doubt and bring them back so that they can shore up their budget and their educational plan to see if we can make this work, because primarily you're looking at an area that we all know that could use successful educational options for those families. And for that reason, Madam Chair, I want to support them.
And Madam Chair, this is Hilda Parlay. I concur. Yes, I would like to hear more to give them a better opportunity and invite them back. Thanks.
Ms. Turner, respectfully to my fellow board members, I have to disagree. Bringing them back next month is not going to change the fact that there are not members of the community of Lenoir County on the board. It's not going to change this budget, which is a disaster. I can't even fathom opening a school with teachers getting low pay and not any benefits. So while the concept of a community school is absolutely fantastic and certainly needed in Eastern North Carolina, I am a resident of Eastern North Carolina. We've had disastrous schools in this area. Also, starting with a 3-6 program, you're talking about bringing kids in who are already at a disadvantage into 3rd grade through 6th grade, all tested grades where the stakes are already high, and you have no standing at that point. You bring them in on getting them indoctrinated into your program. I know Ms. Strickland spoke about doing 3-6 to grow leaders and then bring in the little ones where they can teach them. But I posit, why not teach the little ones to be leaders from the start, and then that builds the whole culture from day one. I am not in favor of bringing the school back. I don't think they're ready. Next year, maybe.
Would somebody like to make a motion?
I just want to echo Sherry's comments. They even said themselves, it's a work in progress. There's an opportunity for growth. This application is just not ready. In another month is not going to get it to a point of being ready. I think agree, great concept, have some strong board members, but there are a host of issues. And as Heather said, we didn't even talk about that plan. Give a very specific example, the curriculum plan that's uploaded, which, it's a 2012 core knowledge curriculum plan. 2012 was pre-Common Core. We're talking about starting with 3rd grade, which is a tested grade. We have a pre-Common Core curriculum plan. I spent 2 minutes Googling, found an updated version for 2015. It just suggests a lack of readiness for the educational challenges that are in front of this school, and should they move forward. So I don't think it makes sense to move them forward. I think one of the reasons that we have these longer interviews now, round 1 and round 2, is to separate the ones that are close, really close to there, or to make a decision on a school that is just a total slam dunk, but not to spend more time deliberating if we, and with all due respect, Joel, I would just say, I don't think we should give people the benefit of the doubt. I think we should be very disciplined and very rigorous and only move the schools forward that we feel 100% certain about.
So, Madam Chair, Joel Ford again. I hear the issues and concerns from my colleagues. I have a tremendous amount of respect for them, but I'm sitting here and I'm listening, and I don't want those of you who are in this space every day, who have the experience and who have a certain level of expectation, and I challenge anyone on the board who is harder on the schools that want to open up and who want to try and serve these kids who are in these underserved areas, who the only option for them is their neighborhood failing school, which is a problem for me. And I don't want us to allow perfection to be the enemy of good. I have a tremendous amount of confidence in Mr. King's ability to make adjustments with this board's leadership to address the issues and concerns that my fellow board members have articulated, to put forth a plan that will be not only sustainable, but financially and academically successful for these kids. And with that, I'm willing to invest into these folks, these volunteers who are trying to do something great for a part of our state that could desperately use an injection of academic choice and help. And so with that, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to move forward for at least another round.
Is there a second?
Yes, Hilda Parley seconds.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we move Impact Leadership Academy forward to round 2. Ashley, would you please take the roll?
Yeah. Joel Ford?
Aye.
Bruce Friend?
Nay.
Lynn Kroger?
No, I do not support the motion.
Hilda Parlay?
Aye.
Alex Quigley?
No.
Jerry Reeves?
No.
Cheryl Turner?
No.
Heather Van Cannon? Heather Van Cannon? Stephen Walker?
Aye.
Okay, the motion does not pass. It is 3, 4, and 5 against.
Okay, thank you very much. And we will apply again next year.
Carol, do we need to make a converse motion?
Oh, I guess we do. We have, because we haven't decided what to do. We just decided what not to do.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
I do support the school and I do know the need for the area. I hope you will reapply next year with stronger community support from Lenoir County or move it into Wayne County. But as is, I make the motion that we do not move Impact Leadership forward to ready to open.
This is Lynn Kroger. I second that.
Been properly moved and seconded. Ashley, could you take the roll?
Yes. Joel Ford?
No.
Bruce Friend?
Aye.
Lynn Kroger?
Aye.
Hilda Parlay,
Nay.
Alex Quigley,
Aye.
Jerry Reeves,
Aye.
Cheryl Turner,
Aye.
Heather Van Cannon.
I'm sorry, I need someone to repeat the motion.
This to not move them forward to a second round.
No, is my vote.
Okay. Stephen Walker?
No.
Okay, the motion passes 5-4. Okay, we have one more interview today. Let me pull the materials up in 1 second. Thank you very much, Impact Leadership Academy, for attending.
Thank you.
Okay, Ellie, we're ready for your introduction.
Okay, next we have Triad Math and Science Academy back in Wake County. So you'll see the map here. There is Peak Charter Academy there in Apex and some neighboring LEA schools within a 6-mile radius. The current site that TMSA is working on is in Apex in zip code 27502, and it's approximately 9 miles away from their existing campus at 312 Gregson Drive in Cary. Next slide, please. All right, so in year one, we're looking at K through 5 with 600 students, and they grow incrementally by 100 students each year. They'll be at capacity actually in year 4 with the 900 students. TMSA does plan to participate in the National Lunch Program. They will provide transportation, use a weighted lottery. Again, they do not yet have a slated facility. There has not been an LEA impact, but they are a replication of LEA 92T. They are not using an EMO, and there is a completeness check.
Thank you, Melanie. Would the board like to introduce themselves and give their opening statement?
Hello everyone, my name is Fatih Oguz. I will be making an introduction. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the board. On behalf of the TMSA community, I would like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here today for our application project. I am the current president of Triad Math and Science Academy Company board, which is currently the charter holder of both Triad Math and Science and Triangle Math and Science Academies. I'm an associate professor of information sciences at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Today, I have 4 of my fellow board members with me: Ms. Firm, our vice president, Ms. Katie, Dr. Kitabayev, and Dr. Thomas, along with our central office staff. Unfortunately, Secretary Dr. Abdullayev and Treasurer Dr. Atay and Ms. Myers couldn't be here today with us. Prior to joining the TMSA board, I served more than 5 years at Kinston STEM School Board. If you look at our strong history in operating successful schools in the state, TMSA Triad moved from its first building to the current secondary campus in Greensboro in 2010, within 2 years after opening its doors. TMSA Cary, the Triangle, was opened in 2012 as a replication of Triad. Triangle moved to its current location in 2013. Triad Elementary moved to its current location and expanded its enrollment in 2014. Queens STEM School was opened in Charlotte based on the TMSA Greensboro model in 2015 and expanded to its second location in 2019. This time we are here to replicate the Triangle Math and Science Academy in Cary. Since the first year of operation in 2012-13 school year, TMSA has experienced growth and received top ratings, which reflects the dedication to providing students with the educational opportunities and opportunities for success that they deserve. The mission of the Triangle Math and Science Academy is to prepare students to become competent, responsible, and successful individuals in our globalized and technology-based society through a strong academic program, school, family, community partnerships, and teacher-student relationships. When we first opened Triad Math and Science Academy in 2008, in the first year we had 252 students. Currently we have over close to 1,300 students. In Triangle Math and Science Academy, which was established in 2012, we started out with 250 students, and we currently have 950 students. Since the 2013-14 school year, TMSA has earned an A or higher school performance grade annually. Our student performance ratings have been consistently very high, and we are proud of our rigorous student-centered approach to education. We have implemented a strong curriculum at TMSA Cary, including a robust Project Lead the Way program. This curriculum provides a rich, engaging curriculum and assessments in the fields of engineering, biomedical, and more. TMSA Cary is currently a PLTW Distinguished School, which is a high recognition earned from the PLTW organization. Distinguished schools are recognized for their commitment to increasing access to curriculum and their dedication to increasing engagement and student achievement. Our students also have access to rich extracurricular opportunities, and we have successful competition teams for our students to participate in, including Science Olympiad and Robotics. Since the opening of TMSA Cary, the community has grown to value TMSA's success with students, and with that, our waiting list has grown year after year. Last year, there were over 2,200 students on the waiting list for this school, yet we had only 23 seats available for students in grades 1 through 8. It is without hesitation that we understand there is a need to replicate our model and offer our educational opportunities to more students. There's an obvious demand for strong STEM-focused education with a reliable educational model and a successful student support plan for students across the state. Our attrition rates are currently so low at TMSA Cary that we do not have seats available for more students. We want more students to have access to our programs, including educational disadvantaged students, which will be provided through a weighted lottery. We believe this replication will provide this opportunity for thousands of more students in years to come. Not only have we had success with the current school, but Triangle Science and Math and Science Academy was also modeled after our original school here in North Carolina in Greensboro. Triad Math and Science, since the opening Triad and Triangle, we also have a third school that's overseen by our central office, Queens STEM School in Charlotte. The central office team is prepared and capable of overseeing the replication project and is also very passionate about the need for the school to serve more students in our community. As a board, we strictly follow our policies on the top of applicable state and federal regulations. Our audit reports are clear, and we are all in compliance with the state and federal requirements. Our schools are not just academically strong, but also very stable financially. Triangle's 95 days cash on hand with 1.45 debt coverage ratio is the evidence for that. Our central office takes all the back office workload from our school administrators so that they can focus on the students and classroom. Our central office consists of a superintendent, deputy superintendent, a director of curriculum, instruction and assessments, a director of student services, a senior accounting manager, a human resources manager, and additional support staff within these individual departments. Our board of directors oversees the superintendent, who in turn directly supervises operations for the central office and our schools. Our superintendent, Mr. Ben, is here today with us to application with you as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oguz. Would any other board member like to speak at this time?
I would like to make some comments to the review questions, if you allow me. My name is Ben Kraduman. I am the superintendent in the central office, oversees the central office staff and the principals. Before the question comes, I'll just briefly, make comments on the reviews just to make the things easier for the boards. Unfortunately, some of the appendices are cut off. We don't know why, because of the evolution programs, I guess. And when you look at the attachment, it's so clear about some of the comments, the disparities mentioned in the review. They are not there. We can clearly see the the correlation EDS students, the EL students, and the EC students, the proficiency levels and the growth levels are so clear, and we are meeting the growth levels in all years, and then those statements are not reflecting our data over there. The second thing is the comments over there, stating that using the school's current wait list cannot be used for the projected schools. We provided the board in appendix a map in question 103. It shows clearly where the students are coming from. If you're looking from South Angier up in the Durham, Hillsborough area, and from Zebulon to Pittsburgh, we have students coming all over the place, and equally distributed. So looking at the projected, the location that we're proposing, the northwest of the existing the campus over Highway 64, most of the students are going to be reaching out to this new proposed site in a shorter time or in the same amount of time. So we really did not go out and then did surveys or do any kinds of marketing. We exactly used our real data on hand with the zip codes and everything. We even, the segregated data going into details like the lower grade levels. And we identified about like 6 different locations within the area. They are in the maps, but you cannot see them, clearly. And then those are like within the 15 miles radius from the existing school. And we've been working with different, the contractors. We have 6 different, the proposals on hand, and then we have also the 3 different financial, the advisors, we are working with. The proposed facility that we are planning, it's going to be like 67,500 square foot over a 7-acre property, and it is planned for 900 students. They're basically 75 square foot per students, and the overall projections are about like $12 to $13 million. And having looked at the beginning, when we proposed to our board the replication in February, we said we were going to be working with a developer and with an option to lease to buy, because our call dates for our current bonds in 2025, 3 years from now. So then we can bundle all the deals when we are buying the building, and then all other things, the risks are going to be on the developers. And then that way, we can have the developer do the job, do the financing and everything. We can do the lease, and then we can buy the building after 3 years. But with the current situation, having the bond market is really low, and talking with the financial advisors and our underwriter, we can be easily get like BBB minus rating. If not, we can get the BB plus, and then that's going to take us down to like almost half of the interest rates, which is going to save us more than $500,000 a year. So we are working on the different options. Even now, we can do a tender deal with our bond investors and then do the whole thing. So those are going to be like the simultaneous thing we're going to be working on. And then there is no doubt about us looking at our history with the developing 5 different buildings, buying them, remodeling them. And when we look at one of the comments was there's not enough time. This is going to be a build up. When we look at our previous schools, we finished them like less than 6-7 months, including purchasing, financing, construction, and everything. So we will have about 18 to 12 months, the time frame. Once we have done the deal in next board meeting, November 17, our board is going to vote on making the deal with the developer to move forward. And the last question, the comments was
that, sir, I hate to interrupt, but the introduction piece time is over. So let's see what the charter school board members, questions they bring forward, and maybe it'll be your last point. If not, you can capture it in your closing remarks.
My last point is about our budget. What we provided to the board is everything is real, current policies and procedures and what we've been doing so far. We did not create any new documents. We basically provided everything, audits and financials and everything. Our budget model is like 65% of, the revenues goes to the salaries and benefit, less than 15% goes to, the facilities and rent. Our target is like 5% surplus to meet the, bond covenants for our investors. Basically, based on this, we created the budget, so.
Thank you. Thank you. Charter school board members, please present your questions.
This is Bruce. Sherry, my question is, in the original application, it didn't sound like they knew exactly where the school was going to be located. Maybe what I'm hearing today is they've narrowed that down a little bit more. So I'd like to hear more about where they're actually planning to put the school.
Yeah, that's a good point, because in the application, it said within 10 miles of their current campus, but we all know that Wake County is very tight on properties available. So if a board member could speak to that. But before we get to that, my question is regarding the name of the school. So the proposed school is Triad Math and Science Academy Company. But all throughout the application, this school is referred to as Triangle Math and Science Academy 2. Could someone clarify what the name is going to be and how we keep the schools from the school names from being confusing? I mean, why not Wake Math and Science Academy or Cary Math Science Academy, a TMSA school or something to that effect? Somebody speak to that. And then more information on location and how you're going about your search.
This is Dr. Oguz. I think at this time the name is TMSA 2, Triad Math and Science Academy 2. And with regards to location, I'll let Mr. Ben talk about the location. Actually, I'd like to take the question, if that's okay. This is Liz Firm. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us. I think we will make it crystal clear about the differentiation between our Cary campus and our proposed new replication. Right now, we have Triangle 2, but we will, I believe that if we move forward, we will maybe fine tune that. The Triad Math and Science Company is the company that is over all the three schools, so I think that might be the confusion. As regards to the facility, the one that we've narrowed down after talking with many developers, and for 2 years we have actually been looking at facilities, and as you mentioned, Wake County is very tight with real estate, commercial, residential, etc. We found a place that's 9 miles away off 64 on the border of Wake County and Chatham County. I personally have been involved with Triangle Math and Science as a parent and a board member since 2012 and happen to live on that corridor on 64. That's a huge growth area. We found a really good parcel of land, and we're ready, as Ben said, in the next board meeting to move forward with working with the developer in securing that. But we've done our due diligence and have other sites as well. But that's one of our core, that's our major one right now. It has easy access to 540, 751 corridor. The 15501-64 is close on the other side of the lake. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Chatham Park, which is a Preston development, 7,000 acre. It's going to grow that area by up to 60,000, the population. It's going to be a multi-use residential, 20,000 homes. There is not a lot of schools in between. There's Thales and Peak Charter out that way, but not close, I think within 4 or 5 miles. And Chatham County schools, they're not as close. Woods Charter is 4 miles. Corridor does not have a lot of educational schools. Does that help answer some of the questions about the location?
Mr. Friend, does that help? Bruce, are you with us?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Did that help clarify the location for you?
Yeah, did we not just, I was actually going through last month's minutes. I thought, did we not just approve a school for the performing arts or fine arts out in that same area last month?
We did approve the Saba School of the Arts for the Boys. And I think that's going to be in Chatham County.
This isn't Wake County, our facility.
Yeah, I understand. It's right there on the line. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. That answers my question for now. Thank you, Sherry.
Okay.
Thanks.
Board members, do we have other questions?
Sherry, I have a question. I noticed when in your weighted lottery, you did not include economically disadvantaged students. You had all the other classifications, but not economically disadvantaged students. Is there a reason you're not including economically disadvantaged students?
I can take that question, Ms. Turner. I believe that is a mistake. We definitely do want to have economically disadvantaged children in our weighted lottery, and that's what we're very excited about replicating, because we've taken the model since 2012. We've learned a lot, grown a lot, have had success financially, academically, but we didn't have a weighted lottery. So we'd like to reach out to the educational, economically disadvantaged, and that's our hope. And we're taking the model that's been successful and we're making it better by being more inclusive of the Wake County student population as a whole. So that is definitely our intention, to have the weighted lottery include economically disadvantaged children.
What do you do with board meetings now to separate the schools?
We have combined, does somebody else want to take it? I'm sorry. Another board member want to take that question? Sure, I can have also Dr. Thomas chime in too. Basically, we are currently operating 2 schools, Triad Math and Science Academy and Triangle Math and Science Academy. Again, board is a governing entity. We don't necessarily get into details too much, but we identify results for our schools, and we let our central office and the school principals identify the means to achieve those goals and the results. We look at the issues school by school as they arise, but we govern those schools, not necessarily look at the individual schools in specific issues, specific management issues more. There's also
how do they know? So from any of the schools can show up at the same board meeting and you just talk about all of them?
Correct. We have the 2 schools, and we invite actually all stakeholders. We want to be very transparent. We've done a really good job. A couple of years ago, we had from the public, and now we have especially in light of COVID, we've had town hall meetings. We've had lots of participation of faculty and parents. And even students come to the board meetings. And what we do is we have representation from both communities. We have Dr. Thomas is in Greensboro, and Mustafa Tai is from Greensboro, and we have some parents and some board members that are in the Triangle area, and we have the principals from both schools. They give a report. We hear about both schools. we also tie a lot of purchases like the Chromebooks for both schools. So, you know, you get better costs in buying more. So we use that for purchasing. So we approved some things for both schools, some separate. I believe we've done a really good job in governing both, but knowing the separate needs of the two different student bodies and cities, but also developing some type of overall standards that are for the organization as a whole. Does that answer your question to how?
Yeah. Are you planning to add the third school to this now? To the same board meeting?
Currently we are. Yes.
That's going to make for a very long board meeting, potentially.
We do have long board meetings, but I believe that we're very passionate, and we've had a lot of talented board members and passionate and really focused their time when needed, especially during COVID. We all have been affected greatly by that, but I think that we've still pivoted to remote learning very well for both campuses in a very short time. Then over the summer, we got to tweak it. I feel like we do a lot of surveys for staff and families in any kind of initiative, especially the COVID and opening and that kind of stuff. And I feel like those families and staff who trust us have given us feedback, and they know that we listen to it. We can't make everybody happy, unfortunately. There's not a win-win situation, especially just in life in general, but now in remote learning. We just want to keep our staff and students safe. I feel like we really, really value our staff. We give them great benefits. In fact, some of the staff say that's why they came here. You know, maybe their salary isn't as, we try to be competitive, but we do pay for the premium for the staff member. You know, they're for the health, which I think is very that's something that we've dedicated and want to keep trying to do. So anyway, does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, one more thing. I think you're right about the long board meetings, and we have been paying more close attention to distinction between governance and management. In addition, we have been having our board meeting materials available about a week ahead of time, so that board members would have a chance to review those documents and ask questions to get clarification, so that we can have more efficient board meetings. And also, our center office director, Mr. Superintendent, also can tell more about how he handles the process too.
Okay, good. That sounds like a great plan. Now, the current Triangle and Triad, they are both K-12 schools, is that correct?
Yes.
So will your intention be to make part 2 a K-12 at some point?
K through 8.
You're going to stick to it?
That's what we intend to at this time, yes.
Okay. So one of the things that I noticed, I mean, obviously your educational plan is working very well. The model is fantastic. We want schools like Triad and Triangle. I mean, you're an A school, you're exceeding growth, but your demographics are reaching the more advantaged student, I guess, is a way to put it. And I was looking at the weighted lottery piece, and it shows that you're going to expect, say, 10% in year 1 for your weighted lottery. And 10% per grade level, it's only 10 students per grade level. Is that enough? I mean, these are the kind of programs that we absolutely need for our educationally and economically disadvantaged students. So how can this board assure us that you are going to become more inclusive and reach these other children, not just the kids whose parents are already professionals who are already advanced above their peers.
I think it's a great question. I think that's the main intention of basically for this replication project, as Ms. Firm and Mr. Ben also mentioned earlier, and also I highlighted in my opening statement. The main issue with our current school is that we have very low attrition rate. With this new school, at least we will pay much close attention to being more inclusive, and we are trying to make sure that at least we have that many students. But our goal in that to at least to be able to reflect the similar demographics in the Wake County, so that we can reach out to our student population that we are trying to target.
Ms. Favreau can weigh into that.
Yes, yeah, please, yeah, Ms. Favreau too. Thank you. Hello. So with the weighted lottery, we based the numbers off of our current population just in hopes to make really achievable goals for ourselves. We are applicants for the NC Access Grant, and as you know, we need to ensure that our goals are smart and achievable for that. So we did that, but with that, the weighted lottery will provide seats to EDS students. And while I have the opportunity, we used the NC Access Grant definition of educationally disadvantaged students, which encompasses economically disadvantaged students. So I know that question was mentioned earlier, and I just wanted to comment on that. But we also have sibling preference in our lottery. So while the numbers look to be 10 to 15% after those first few years of operation, we do anticipate the numbers to be much higher. And it is our goal that those numbers are much, much higher. Our marketing plans will work to ensure that we reach out to those areas, that we are in their community, that we are sharing information, that we will have transportation, we will have a lunch program. We will be doing everything in our power to make those numbers higher and to ensure that we are meeting the needs of the demographics that represent Wake County. But just currently with our current lottery and the lack of seats, it's nearly impossible for us. We have some families that have 8 or 9 siblings. So when they're getting the seats year after year and the population isn't changing, we're kind of stuck. So this is a perfect opportunity for us to really branch out and get a fresh start with a weighted lottery.
Okay, good answer. So this is your restart, basically.
Yes, another opportunity to serve the community and the kids who deserve these opportunities so much. We truly believe that.
With that in mind, the application does speak to fees associated with clubs and dual credit college classes, etc., and then be reimbursed on the back end once a kid passed class or so forth. That's probably not a good idea when you're trying to serve those populations. That's just a sidebar from me. Board members, do we have questions about, I think we're good with the governance probably. Do we have any questions about their operational plan?
I have some budget questions.
Go ahead, Ms. Turner.
Okay, they have contract fees of $275,000. I was wondering what that is. There's a custodial contract and there's a custodian. So how does that work? What about tech for students? I didn't see any money for that. And what do they use? Do they not use textbooks? For textbooks, they had about $100 a kid. That will buy one book. So, what are they using? Because I didn't see money for tech, and then I didn't see money for books. So then I'm not sure what they're using.
Right, and could you explain which roles are being supplemented by the other 2 schools? In other words, is that where the contract fee comes in? And what does that buy you? $275,000. That's a cost share between Triad and Triangle and Triangle 2. What are we getting for that amount of money? And yeah, I had questions about Student accounting is only 15 grand, so who's doing that? I also had questions about the custodial contract, which was pretty high. And child nutrition is very low. And the break-even point is fairly close to the desired start. So whoever is the budget expert, please jump in and clarify all these issues for us.
And Ms. Reeves, I had one other question too.
I had Ms. Carter.
They show other income of 400,000, and I just wanted to know what that was related to.
Okay, good. I missed that one. All right.
All right, our treasurer is not being here, and the other finance board member, he just left at 2:30. He has a class, so I just tried to answer those questions. That the 5% is the central office fee for all our schools. Well, how our central office works, we have 15 employees at the central office. We have two different departments, operations and the academics. Under the academics, we have curriculum instruction, accountability assessment, IT, exceptional children, and the student support services. Whereas on the other side, the operations, we have finance, and we have facilities, we have public relations, and also we have HR departments. So basically what we do is all the back office works, done at the central office level. And we also have all those purchasings, the procurement, bidding processes and all those maintenance and all those things. Our central office handles those, to help the schools. As Dr. Ogles mentioned in his opening statements, we try to get everything out of the school administrators, the shoulder, let them deal with the classroom and the instruction, and then we do everything. We basically, in a sense, when you look at those accounting firms, the EMOs, CMOs are doing all those things. We do those by ourselves, and that 5% is basically comes to the central office. And when it comes to the $400,000 is basically it was, the NC Access grant we submitted after we submit the application. So that 400 is going to come from the NC Access grant, and it can, we already got, the access grant for Triad School for $700,000. And then we did the same thing for Triangle. We are expecting to have this. In case we don't have it, and basically we're just going to, put those, the furniture, fixtures, and equipment expenses into the capital budget and to make it happen to the budget. And for break-even points and all other things, one of the things that the reviewer commented about, the health insurances, it was straight out, it's been put like to 2% increases. And that number was actually our existing number. It was lower than state, yes. But for those things, when we have those, the remarkable surpluses, basically, when you look at our educational model, you will see, how many teachers, the student ratio, staff student ratio, and the specialist teachers, TAs, and all that kind of things. And basically, what we can do is we can just have the kindergarten classes, TAs in the first year, and until coming to the 900 capacity, we can have the TAs reduced in the first grade and the second grade levels. And also the specialty teachers, we can reduce them, and then we can ask the regular teachers to cover those specific. But we doubt that, that's going to happen, because we know that the numbers are going to be there, and then we will easily going to be making our targeted numbers over there. When it comes to the curriculum books, and other things, it's been put in there, and I don't know why it is not seen, because this is actually our real budgets that, from our current schools, and then we utilize all across the board, and then there shouldn't be any missing things to implement, our curriculum.
Sorry, guys, I had to turn off the walkie-talkie. It's dismissal time. Okay? Thank you for those answers. And you're probably right. Your break-even's probably not gonna matter. Ms. Kroger, did that satisfy you with the 400,000? Was it incorporated into the budget for spending?
Yes, ma'am.
It was. So without that, you would end up in the negative. Okay. And Mr. Karudaman, you would fall under the central office, right? Is that correct?
Yes, I am the board designee. You can call me like an ex officio board member.
Gotcha.
I work with the board directly, and then, I do oversight the principals. I do their evaluation. Board hires me, board evaluates me, so I'll run the operations.
Oh my goodness, you get evaluated by all three boards?
Yes. Not just the boards, principals, and some teachers as well. So it's fun.
I got that. CSAB members, do we have any? I know we must be getting close on our time. Melanie, can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, so we're over for about 3 minutes.
Okay.
So
does any board member, CSAB member, have any burning questions for this group?
This is Joe. I'd like to chime in here. I've had the pleasure of visiting the science school several years ago and just saw a great program running there. And I think what this group has developed is a very interesting model for a central office that a lot of our charter schools are sorely missing, so that school principals can really focus on their teachers and their students' education. I think it's a very interesting, positive model for our charter school community, and I very much support this application.
Ms. Reed, this is Mr. Friend. I think I'd like to say I'll support this application as well to bring them back with the second interview. I appreciate all the questions that members raise. I do think the name is a little confusing, and maybe they might want to consider a change there. Maybe it was just me, but the whole, the school with the name of Triad, and I realize the school name now is Triad. It's something that's different, but that's what confused me, was the school with the name Triad, and this name is not in the Triad. It's not in the Triad. So I have better clarity on that now, but there's real potential here.
Madam Chair, Joel Ford, I have reservations based upon the concerns that have already been raised as it relates to the lack of diversity. And it concerns me a great deal that that was not a part of the original application. And so it really makes me question the sincerity of the leadership about how important it is for that to be a part of this particular public charter school makeup. And so one of the things that we get accused of as being a part of this charter school management and oversight is that creating, just like the public school system, traditional public school system, two separate systems. And so if we can't expand with a successful model now to have a more diverse student population, then we're in trouble, right? So, we can pat them on the back about all the other things that they're doing, but at the end of the day, this is a public charter and it needs to reflect the community in which it's located in.
Thank you, Mr. Ford.
Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
I may have given the wrong impression that it wasn't that the application didn't say that they were going to diversify. Instead of just saying educationally disadvantaged students, they listed out the categories of educationally disadvantaged students, and they didn't include economically disadvantaged, which was why I asked. But it wasn't that the application didn't reflect that that they were trying to diversify. And I wanted to clear that up if I gave that impression.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. I'm going to ask the board to summarize real quickly for us. This would be part two. The board chair, if you could just summarize your statement for us real quickly, and then we'll make a decision.
Sure, thank you. I really appreciate the feedback. Just I'd like to highlight that we have very proven academic success and we have a proven record. Also, I'd like to respond to the diversity aspect. Right now, our schools are very diverse. Both Triad and Triangle schools are very diverse, including Kinston STEM School, which is managed by our central office. So diversity is Triad is a Title I school, and Triangle is very diverse in terms of ethnicity and racially. But with this school, our emphasis is going to be more on education disadvantaged students, which includes economic disadvantaged students as well. If we, as I mentioned, we were able to successfully open 3 schools. They're on their permanent buildings. Our financials are stable. We have a functioning system that allows us to operate these schools. As a board, we emphasize governance rather than management of these schools. It allows us to efficiently run our meetings. I think that should help. I don't want to take too much of your time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Charter school board members, it's time for us to deliberate and make a decision. Our choices are to either ask this board to return next month or to move them forward to ready to open, or to deny the application altogether. So I'm open for discussion.
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to move forward.
What is the rest of the motion, please? Repeat the motion, please.
I make a motion that we move them forward, ready to open.
I'd second that.
Okay.
So Mr. Ford made a motion to move TMSA Part 2 forward to ready to open. Who was our second?
Cheryl.
And Ms. Turner, second. Any discussion on the motion? I would like to make a stipulation that maybe once they pinpoint their next location, that they, as one board member said, fine tune their name. I think it will be difficult for DPI and FBS and others, even opposite charter schools, to keep them straight if the second campus is called Triangle also.
And that is what I was wanting to have as a contingency as well. Cheryl.
Yeah, okay.
Cheryl.
Somebody want to modify the motion?
Mr. Ford, can you modify the motion to that?
Yes, I would like to modify the motion to include moving the applicant forward for approval contingent upon name adjustment. And what was the other issue?
I think that
was it. Yes.
All right. So again, let me restate the motion. The motion is to move the applicant forward for approval for opening contingent upon name adjustment.
I second again.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Reeves, I just want to say that I'm excited that we're able to move a school forward to ready to open out of the first interview. From a procedural standpoint, I think that's part of the purpose of this. And kind of echoing Joe's point, what we have here is a homegrown management organization, homegrown charter that has gotten it right and then replicated itself. And I think that's the type of school that we want to be encouraging in our state, where we have a proven model that's working for kids, that parents have already demonstrated a desire to be there, and they've demonstrated a capacity to move students of different backgrounds. They have a desire to serve students, to diversify from an income level of students they are serving. And I just think this is similarly to Chatham, again, replicating itself and trying to bring their model to another county. I think this is an example of how we scale effective models in the state. So I'm just happy to see this. I'm excited to support it.
And hopefully, with our training offered by Office of Charter Schools, they can get boards such as this board to come in and discuss with new schools how to do this. If there is no further discussion, I will ask Ms. Piquero to take a roll call, please.
All right. Jeanette Butterworth. She's off the call sign. Joel Ford.
Aye.
Bruce Friend.
Aye.
Lynn Kroger.
Aye.
Hilda Parlay.
Aye.
Alex Quigley.
Sorry, aye.
Okay. Sherry Reeves.
Aye.
Cheryl Turner.
Aye.
Heather Van Cannon.
Aye.
And Stephen Walker.
Aye.
All right, congratulations. It passes unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations.
Very excited
Thank you.
for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we're at the end of the agenda, right?
Correct.
Okay, we need to go into closed session with our attorneys. Ms. Piquero is going to be sending each of us a new link, a different link to get into the meeting. We will not be making any decisions in the meeting, so that we will close the meeting coming out of executive session.
All right, thanks. Lawrence, you can turn off the live streaming, and I'm going to close this meeting out in 1 minute, and then I will send the board members, attorneys, and staff the closed session link. So you should see that in your inbox in the next minute or so. Thank you.
The board needs to vote to go into close. Have they done that yet?
Right. No, we haven't.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
All right. Madam Chair,
Can somebody make a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
That we go to closed session.
Okay. I second.
One of us made it, one of us second.
I second, I suppose. Hilda Parlay, yes.
It's been moved and seconded that we go into closed session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed?
Aye.
And make a note that we went in closed session or ended open at 3:17 p.m.
Stream is done. Stream is off on Alexa. Action.